Y'all hear back a clue? We in here, right? Just got to the gym. Looks like nobody's here. It's a beautiful afternoon, 70 degrees. Man, it's actually bacon in this vehicle, man. If you don't know, because you're not from somewhere that gets four seasons, when it's cold for a little bit, and then you get anything 50 to 70, man, you be feeling hot. And today it is bacon, it's nice, it's beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead, hit this shoulder and tricep workout for you guys. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm doing, and that'll be it. How you gonna act? All right, guys. So here I am starting off with lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises. All right, so I believe I started with the 5 pounds. All right, and then I just worked my way up in increments until I got to a heavier set. Self-explanatory. Now, doing this, what I really tried to focus on was leading with the elbows. A lot of people, they pull their hands apart, and I used to do that as well. Except I realized, like a lot of people probably realize, that it feels like you're doing a lot more work to actually hold on to the dumbbell than you're getting from lifting the dumbbell. So, of course, I had to switch my game up. All right. Re-angle the camera here, just so y'all get a different view, a better view. Now, this particular day, the gym was empty. There's like only two other people in it. And let me tell you, that made it great for recording. And even later, you'll see that the gym was empty again. The gym is hit or miss as far as being empty on certain days. I just got lucky with the days that I went, because the machines and things that I needed access to on this particular day are things that people pretty much gravitate towards using. And if I were not able to get to them when I needed to, it's one of those things where the whole exercise, or the whole routine, the whole workout, the whole training session would have been messed up, because everything that I needed, except for the dumbbells, are things that people always want to use. All right. So again, switching up the angle so y'all can see. All right. I believe this day I pyramided up to 222 and a half. All right. So, or either that or no, what am I talking about? 22 and a half or 25-pound dumbbells with this exercise. One of those two. I'm getting mixed up with something completely different. Sorry about that. In the distance, also, you can see my concoction, my pre-workout concoction. No, it's not one particular pre-workout. It is a series, well, not a series, but a list of pre-workouts that I put together in order to fuel the necessary performance for today. What I like to do with my pre-workouts actually is select different combinations for different days and for different scenarios. All right. That way, if it's a certain session to where I know I'm going to go a little bit longer, run out of energy or something, I may do something a little, a different formula versus something to where it's like a normal, but I would say session to where I need to be able to obviously go to sleep after, because I am stimulant sensitive in the regard. If it's something to where I need it to end when the workout ends, or I just need a little bit of assistance, then I have something for that. And if it's just, I just need to get a pump and the performance aspects for my pre-workout, I don't really need any type of energy, I'm feeling good, I have another formula for that. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, why is this clip so long? Like, why am I painstakingly going through this instead of doing what I normally would do, which is speed up the exercise? Well, I want to show you and talk to you about what's going on here. All right, so here what I'm doing is planting my feet and stabilizing. And as I'm going up, I'm actually not heaving the weight up. I'm moving my body into it to really drive that contraction. As you see, I have the 25s. Now, I did recently use the 27 and a half, 27 pounds and a half, but I'm not going to go above that until I take the rep range up, maybe get like 15, 20 with that, because once the weight starts getting heavy, you do tend to swing up on the lateral raises. And I'm just actually feeling the movement out with my shoulders, loosening up a little bit, because I started this as a warm-up, really. All right, getting back into it. Now, what you're going to see here is me employing some, which is also, I don't want to speed it up, some strategies. Now, I always say when you feel ready enough to get back into the set, go into it. I felt good. The blood was starting to get in there, lubricate things. So I jumped back into the set. I'm not somebody that uses a stopwatch and track like, oh, it's 30 seconds. It's been a minute. Let's get back into it. When breathing returns back to normal, we're ready to go. That's when you start the next set. Unless you're doing something to where timing is absolutely important, or you're just doing it to keep your heart rate up, which is not what we're doing here. All right. So here is where I'm going to use an exercise where a lot of people actually don't know about, surprisingly. So I have the ankle cuff around the wrist, and I am driving up again with the elbows. Now, a lot of people have the pulley set a little higher for the strength resistance curve and all that. The reason why I have it set low here is because I like to feel the full stretch on it and then go up. Different preference, but you can set it a little bit higher if you would like. Just whichever one you try and you like, try to adhere to it for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Let yourself progress on it before switching to the next. Or if you switch to one and you realize it's not working, just go to the other one. But give yourself time in your sessions with new movements, new changes to actually see results. Too many people switch too often, or they say, oh, this exercise isn't working, I'm doing something different. And then when you look at what they've been doing, they haven't been doing exercises consistently. They haven't been going up in reps or weight consistently. You have to be consistent with this stuff. You got to come in week after week and make progress. And the only way to make progress and to adapt, which is what this is about, is by doing the same movements. All right. Even if you have a handful of base movements, do those movements. I'm trying to get my shoulders nice, wide, and capped. So I got to keep movements such as the lateral raises consistent, the settings consistent, the reps getting consistent. All right. And again, this is me on the lateral. The knotless overhead explosion or something like that. Feels really good. There's no weight on here, I don't believe. There actually might be. It looks like I'm struggling a little. I can't see though. There may be a plate. Let's look. Yep, one plate. So what I did was I warmed up on here with no weight just so I could figure out where I needed to set the seat. Then what I did was I added the weight, right? Self-explanatory. I just started using this machine. This session is not the first time. I started using it the first time prior. So right now I'm progressing on this machine. As you'll see, the prior week I started off with a plate, and then I probably did add a 10 like I'm doing here, and then a 25. I don't remember if I did that and then just jumped to 25 or not. But I just had a plate and a 25 on for my final sets. Here, I started with a plate. I added a 10. Then I took those off and put on a 25. And then I added the 2.5s. Those 2.5s are a game changer. Going up 2.5 pounds per side will have you getting all kinds of strength. All right. People sleep on it. People laugh at it. Why are you using those? Because it's so small. But if every step is small, every step is easy. And if every step is easy, come on, man. you're going to make monumental progress before you even realize the difficulty. So even though, you see, I'm going to struggle with these reps, at the end of this video, I think I actually am going to put the most recent session. You will see that I go up another 2.5 pounds per side. So instead of having 2.5 each side, I'm going to have a 5 at the end on each side. And it felt, honestly, it felt just as hard as it did this day, right? No extra effort did it feel on my part. It didn't feel super light. It felt essentially the same. Well, actually, I think it felt a little bit easier because for whatever reason this particular day, my shoulders were feeling great. Now, what I'm saying is, if I would have just wasted time going weeks trying to up my reps on this, and so just so I could put a 5 or a 10 on and make it feel like I'm doing something because I despise the little weights, which I'm looking for right now because there's only like 2 or 3 sets in this whole gym and they don't match, right? But if I wasted time doing that, I would have shortchanged my progress instead of adding the 2.5s, which gave me was just a little bit more than I was doing here 1 week, and then within 2 weeks I'm able to get to the adding that 5 on each side. The next time I go in, I'm going to have a 2.5 on that. So that's going to be a total of, it's not even 7. That's a 8 pound. No, I'm sorry. I do apologize. That's 7.5 pound total added per side. And then I'll put the 10s on. So that means it took me 4 weeks. All right. It's going to take me 4 weeks to put a 10 on each side. Versus some of you guys, it takes 8 weeks or longer because you're so busy despising the 2.5 because it looks small. And you're like, oh, well, there's no point. There is always a point to taking small steps. That is how true progress comes. Step by step. What did the prophet Isaiah say? Well, he said, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. That applies to learning the scripture. That applies to training. All right. With the spiritual, so as well with the physical, and vice versa when it comes to these things. All right. But see, now I'm starting to sound like Chris Jones. So what you would notice is this machine is pretty great. It doesn't hurt my shoulders like my shoulders have been hurt in the past. And in addition to that, the angle is great. I'm using the front handles, not the side. Using the side puts, in my opinion, undue stress on your shoulders, especially on mine. So I'm using the front, really driving up. You can see the biceps help stabilize this movement. They're actually involved in this movement. So a little extra frequency. Little extra frequency for the biceps in here because they're getting activated. The triceps, look at them firing. Obviously, it's delts and triceps today. You about to find that out the right way. And look, I'm driving up. I'm driving. You know, take a few breaths and you back up. You know what that's called? A rest pause. Rest pauses, I used to do rest pauses all the time. A rest pause, I'm doing another one, is a great way to get the most out of your set and extend your set. When you do a rest pause, simply by you go until you can't anymore, you hold it for a second or two and then you go again, hold it for a second or two and then you go again. Give yourself a little break, see if them ATP stores restore, and yeah. And then once that fails, go to the next set. Now here, I combine a rest pause with a drop set. So that's why I took those weights off. Because I'm doing a drop set here. Drop set, you do the weight, you take some off, you keep going. It's like a continuous set. Another way to extend your set. All right. Now I'm going to rest pause with this. As you see, I couldn't get any more. That's when it was over. Not only did I reach technical failure, I reached true failure. Man, see, so that was a combination of a rest pause and drop set So basically a rest pause is, you're doing your set, you get done, but you can't do any more reps. Essentially, you reach failure, you take 1 or 2 breaths, and then you go ahead and try some more. Take 1 or 2 breaths, go ahead, try some more, and you pretty much do that until you actually can't move anymore. It's a technique that I learned from DC training, so dog crap training, Dante Trudell, years ago. Just reading the article, I don't know the guy, I'm not even that old, but back in like probably 2007, 2008, just reading across the internet and whatnot, not fully understanding what those things were, how those principles worked, but being able to stash them away and use them when I needed them. It is something that is a little bit more advanced, so it's not something that a beginner should be too concerned about, but it definitely does help, getting those extra reps with those weights you otherwise may not be able to do. Hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm incoherent right now. You know how it is once you get started, training relatively hard, words don't flow the way they need to. All right, so now that we wrapped up the shoulders, now I do my lateral movements because I'm focusing on my width primarily. Then I do my pressing at the end, in case you were wondering why I did that. Here we're starting with the rope pull downs. Why is it a rope pull down? Because you pull the rope down. All right, doing this, get the elbows warmed up. See the triceps firing. Yeah, getting nice, thick, and juicy. But nah, I do these sets, you'll notice I'll pyramid up with the rope. Then I'll take this off and I'll add the V-bar to continue to hit the outer head of the tricep with press downs. Why are they press downs? Because you're pressing down. Easy. And then after I get done with the press downs, then I'll go ahead and switch to the straight bar, do the straight bar push downs. Or we could say press downs again with a straight bar. And that's pretty much it. Then I grab a little, what's it called? I don't even know what it's really called. It's like a strap that they have there. I loop it around because they do not have a single rope. Then I just work out with it. I use that to wrap it up, hit that inner tricep head, put the workout to bed. See, just adjusting the weight. I understand that this video, to some of you guys, some of these videos are a little bit longer. And when that happens, people kind of don't watch the whole thing. I would encourage you to just break it up and watch it. Other people are putting out longer content, right? And that's what I do. Just split it up and watch it. You don't have to watch it all at once. You don't got to sit down and watch it like an episode of your favorite Netflix series, even though that would be greatly appreciated. But, putting this stuff up here, not just for my own documentation, but for anybody who wants it. I remember when I was young, I used to watch everything that they had on YouTube. Now there's too much on YouTube, so that's a little bit different. I'm a little bit before y'all's time when there was only like 5 channels really to follow. But I know people are hungry for knowledge. I know they're starving for knowledge. That's why I always say, ask in the comment section. But even if it's stupid, put a comment down there. All right. When I see it, I will get back to you. All right. Again, here are the press downs. You see that I pyramided the weight up. As soon as it was too much for me to pull with the rope, I switched to this bar. And pushing allows for you to use more weight with your triceps than pulling. So I'm nice and warmed up. I'm going to keep the set going. I'm going to keep the progress going. I'm going to keep the what word am I? The stimulus going. There we go. And then once I do too much with this, you're going to notice how I do the following exercise. I'm going to wait till we get there. But back to what I was saying. It is nice now that there is so much on YouTube versus when I got on there. Except there's so much now to get lost in. So many people giving out bad advice or demonstrating a lack of advice. Just like exercise content without any advice in it. It's weird. I like watching videos of people working out and stuff and talking about their day. But let's face it, I am beyond that point. Now, you see what I'm doing here with this bar? The reason why I'm letting it, see, here's some knowledge right here. The reason why I'm letting the bar drift and I'm stretching the triceps out is not just to get a better stretch in the triceps, but the triceps actually attach at the back of the shoulder. So you actually get a more full contraction out of the triceps. You work more of the full tricep by stretching it overhead and then pulling forward and driving that contraction. That's why I do it like this. All right, to really work the full tricep. Now, when I get tired, you see I started to try to shorten it a little bit just because I have mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage. Make it used to that.
All right, so what I did with this was, it's kind of long, so I looped this on, obviously, and then I just doubled it over and slid it on the hair. And what I'm going to do is have my hand in a neutral position, come down, and then just extend. I can't see, it's being blocked. But anyways, that's what I'm going to do here. Since there's not a single rope, and when you try to just slide the regular rope through and do it on the other end, you don't really get the same feeling. If you haven't used a single rope, then you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But for those who have, you know there's a difference between doing that and trying to do it with the regular rope and then just pulling on one side at a time. There's just a little bit of a difference. Can't quite explain it, but it's something you would feel.
All right, so now I'm setting up the camera here. I'm going to actually show y'all what I was doing when I was talking about. It's going to make more sense. All right, so you see how I have it, the strap around my hand, like the center around, and I'm grabbing onto the edge to pull through. All right, that's what I'm doing. Crazy thing is, no one has used this attachment probably in a very long time, maybe even since this gym opened. It was so dusty when I went to go pick it up. There was dust flying through the air. All right, and I'm sensitive to dust, so that really sucked, right? But luckily, I noticed it, so I kind of just like brushed it away. I didn't inhale it or anything like that, or I would have had some serious issues. I probably would have had to cut the workout short, to be honest. But there's 3 heads to the tricep. That's why it's called the tricep. And I found this exercise hits that part that runs between the long head and the short head that's actually very difficult to see. It runs underneath it, so you can only really see part of it, and that's when you're really lean, or if you just have really lean arms or good tricep development, right? But usually you have to be, the average person got to be real lean to see it. If you don't have any muscle mass, you're not going to see it. If you just started working out, more than likely you're not going to see this muscle group. It is exactly what it is. But you know, we got to develop everything, and the goal is, when the time comes and you know we're really lean, that you can see it. Now, a problem I'm running into is that I'm not fitting, like my clothes are not fitting the way that they should fit. They're like falling off, which sucks because I like my clothes. And that's something that, you know, before wasn't a problem because when I was younger, you know, I had more clothes of a certain size, but now that I'm older, I haven't been below a certain weight, so I don't have clothes of a certain size. At least not clothes that don't look dated now, at least a little dated. But that's not your problem, that's my problem. That's why you gotta have clothes to cut, clothes to bulk, and intermediate clothes. Just like Hugh Jackman. Here I'm doing close grip triceps, close grip bench press. Now, I haven't bench pressed in this capacity since I tore my pec close gripping 395. Horror story that I keep talking about. That if there's anything that anyone is tired of me talking about, it's that. It's like the guy who has the one tragic thing happen to him, and he just brings it up every time he can for the rest of his life. Yeah, that's me with the pec tear. Oh man, until my pec tear. Oh, my pec tear. Look, everybody gets it. You know, it just makes me feel some kind of way, but everybody knows. Get over it. People tear things and have to recover from it. Just do what you got to do. So I went through the whole workout before doing close grip, and you probably can guess why. Pre-exhaust, right? Pre-exhaust. That way, I don't need as much weight to do the close grip bench press. Only have 185 here. For me, that's a warm-up set. That's light. But as you'll see, I'm going to struggle to complete the set forth. Now, what I will say is I prefer to actually do my close grip bench presses with a very slight incline. But I didn't do that here. And I wasn't actually doing that prior to when I tore my pec, oddly enough. And what is the number one exercise that people tear their pecs on? Flat bench press. So I probably should have kept that incline. But here we go. We're going to jump into this. What I do want to say is when I was doing the knotless machine earlier is that not only does it hit the front delt, but it does hit a portion of the upper pecs, which I really like. So if I could get one of these for my house, I would. Well, one of those for the house, I would. I don't have space. But it hits everything nice. And how that relates is, again, frequency. Because doing exercises like this is tricep day. Obviously, I'm hitting chest. If I have it on slight incline, I'm hitting slight upper chest. See, that actually was heavy to me today. That was actually really heavy to me. And that sucked. Oh, man. All right, so right now, as you guys probably have seen or have just watched or will watch or continue to watch, I am doing close grip bench presses. Now, close grip, a lot of people do it with their hands together. Real close grip bench press is defined as anything where your hands are more narrow than shoulder width, right? So that's where I'm at, in between shoulder width. Excuse me, hands aren't together, but they're inside shoulder width. So you guys aren't confused. A lot of times people ask me why I consider my close grip. Well, it's because it's really close grip. Now, if you're doing it with your hands together, real close, hands touching, I mean, that's close grip, but you really can't go down the way you need to and exert the force and the power you need to really add size to your triceps. Also, you're gonna snap your wrist up, right? So just keep that in mind. As long as you're inside shoulder width, you're good. It's close grip. That's how I do mine. It actually feels good on my shoulders. As a lot of you guys know, I don't do regular flat bench press because it actually aggravates my shoulders. Now, the reason why I'm doing this at the end of my tricep, the shoulder workout set up close to the beginning. All right, if you guys are unaware or if you're new to the channel, you know, I was close gripping at 395. The last thing I got on camera, I think it was 385. I didn't even upload that. But yeah, I was close gripping 395. Felt good, felt light. However, the bench I was using was narrow. So I had my shoulders locked in and my shoulder, like, you know, you have your shoulders packed, and my shoulder actually slipped out as I was driving up and ended up tearing my pec. Luckily not off the bone, but it still bothers me. I still feel it. So I decided to do it this way. As you see, I'm struggling with 185, nowhere near that over 200-pound difference. But I feel in my triceps, I feel good, I feel great. So that's all that matters. Remember, weight is a tool, so don't be too focused on the numbers.
No one's in shot. Huh? You don't got. No one's in shot. It doesn't matter.
All right, man, heading out the gym. See, here's a little disheveled. His shoulders and triceps again. Today, I went up, so another 2.5% on the, what's it called? Explosion? It was like explosion or something like that. Overhead explosion. The knotless machine. I already forgot what it's called. But last week, y'all would have saw already in the footage that I added a 2.5%. This week, I added a 5%. And dang, bugs is out, crap. I got my sleeves down a little bit, I'm gonna roll them up. But yeah, so the same way I had to hunt for those 2.5s, had to hunt for the 5s. They only have like maybe 2 pairs of 5, maybe 3. They don't match. Same with the 2.5s. I don't know if I should complain to somebody or what, but a lot of people don't seem to mind not having the lower plates. I think it's important just so you can progress. So remember, when it comes to progression, you want to go up in the smallest increment possible. That way the movement doesn't really seem to get that much more difficult, yet and still you're still making progress. Because if you jump up and it feels too heavy, it's going to make it hard to complete the necessary reps. Going up 1 1/4 a side if you can, 2.5%, at least 2.5%. From week to week, that's not really going to feel like a huge jump. And like I said, the rate of perceived exertion is going to be roughly the same. However, if you jump up like 5, then yeah, it's going to feel 5% is 10 pounds per side. That's going to feel heavier, right? You're going to be able to tell as soon as you get that weight in your hands that it's heavier. By the way, threw these on with this, you know what I'm saying? Rider wear. The soles is finally getting dirty because of this this unfinished parking lot that I'm in, but these were crispy white up until probably today, to be real with you, which is crazy. because they're not new. But yeah, you want to add the smallest amount so you keep progressing. So either add like 2.5 pounds per side or 2 reps if you're unable to do so each time until you get to a targeted rep range. I got that advice years ago watching Scott Herman back when he was one of the only people on YouTube doing fitness videos. So that lets you know how long I've been into this. But that was something that's really helped me. And people used to laugh at me in the gym doing that. Sorry, the camera's all over the place. I'm putting my shoes back on. Got to put on the business shoes, the Adidas. But yeah, people used to laugh at me using the 2.5s. Why are you putting those on there? And when I was in high school and I took my bench press from when I first walked into the gym from 195 to 405 pounds, they were, and that was for 2 sets of 3. If y'all don't believe me, ask my man. If y'all know him, Don Zay, he was there, right? He was there when I did the 400. He was there when I did the 405. He was spotting me. All right, I remember that day was hot. He was sweating all crazy because he was hitting it in the gym. He was going ham. He was going hard. That was like, whew, that was like 10 years ago now. So I appreciate him because I ain't gonna say who, but he got my boy that was spotting me. He got tired of spotting me. He started getting scared once we got over 300. So, and no, it wasn't Protege because Protege wasn't scared. He was all the way about it. This was somebody else. He used to try to talk me down in weight. So I had to stop training with him. But anyways, he's still my boy. He's still cool, but not to train with. What I'm trying to say is this. All right. Do not underestimate the power of those smaller plates. You know what? I should put this up as a shorter video too. Do not underestimate the power of those smaller plates. Those 2.5s, adding that each side every week, that's 20 pounds a month. You do the math on that. 20 pounds a month, 4 months, 5 months, that's 100 pounds that you can add. Now, of course, not everyone's going to be able to get straight to 100. You may get 50, 60. You may only get 30 and then have to, you know, drop down a little bit in weight and start the process from wherever you go up. So if you go up 50 pounds, you may have to go down back to where you will only have been up a net total of 30 pounds, work your way up to get to 70, and then repeat the process, right? But over time, you're going to get further than you would. You're not going to be like these guys who've been benching 225 all year or the last 2 years because, you know, they're too big for 2.5 pound plates. But at the same time, they can't progress because they can only get 5 to 6 reps with the 225, but they are unable to get, oh, that look crazy. They are unable to get the proper reps that they need so that they can actually move up. Sometimes you just got to throw a little small weight on there incrementally just so you could get up. I was one of those people to where when I was younger, I could not get above a certain amount of reps. So I would do it 2 reps a week. So you start at 5 reps per set, and then the next week 7, 9. I wouldn't do 11 though. I would do 10, then 12, and then bump the weight up. And then eventually I just started going up with the 2.5s like I'm telling you guys. But there was a point to where I hit a sticking point once I got so strong to where I might get 8 reps, I might get 9, but I wasn't getting 10, 11, 12. And instead of spinning my wheels, I was able to add over 100 more pounds to my lifts just by going up. So staying in 5 to 8 rep range, sometimes even going as low as 3 to 5, and just working my way up strength wise. So don't hold yourself back. All right. People say, oh, progressive overload, blah, blah, blah. Look, progressive overload, it just means that you're progressing, okay? You're doing more than you were last time. Like Greg Doucette says, harder than last time. And you're measuring it so you can do more. But the takeaway is that, like, use them 2.5s, get it right, get it tight, get strong. Thanks for watching this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and if for some reason you fall in the time machine and it's 2008 again, rate, comment, rate, subscribe. Y'all remember that? All right, peace.